Okay, before I go up to the next step, let's just talk about the mounting screws one more time. Had I have used the old mounting screws were 1 5/8", and they were plenty long enough for the mounting housing that I had for the light fixture, but this one for the ceiling fan was thicker too, and so that took up the additional difference. See how thick that metal is right there? Okay, and another reason why I wanted to use a little bit longer mounting screw. Okay, let's get on to the next step. Okay, I read the directions a little bit. This one's a little different than ones I've seen before. Lots of times this knuckle assembly doesn't have threads on it. Usually it's just round with just a hole in it. So see, this one's different. That's why you gotta always look at your directions and read them and stuff and see. Lots of times a motor assembly, this one just happens to fit fine down on the floor, so I've still got the plastic bag on there. Sometimes this might go down to a different housing where you set this on the floor and it's off sideways. So if you got the styrofoam around it, I'd take the whole styrofoam and leave it in the styrofoam container, let's say, so that it's standing upright, okay? And see, this one's got the wire on it, and look how much wire it gives you. And you might be thinking, why is this wire so long? Well, that's if you have a cathedral ceiling, and let's say you want this particular light fixture and you want it hanging from your ceiling, and you've got a down rod. Maybe your down rod, you decided it's going to be 3 feet long, or did you know they actually have down rods even longer than that? I've seen them 4 feet long at the store, and I don't know if I've ever seen one installed any longer than 4 feet with the down rod. Well, we're not needing an extension down rod, are we? Do we? We just are going to use this short one because our ceiling is only 8 foot, and it's going to hang straight down. If this was at an angle, then you couldn't really install this short one. You'd have to get a longer extension, and they sell them at the store 12 inches, 18 inches, 2 feet, 3 feet, and 4 feet. Okay. And so then you would get the right one, and you would get the right color. And if you're at the store, don't assume that you know what color this is until you have them open the box, get this out of the box, take it to the ones that they have at the store that they sell, and match it up. It might still be kind of tricky for you to match it up even then until you pull the plastic off and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you get the right down rod color, okay? Because if you get it slightly off, maybe you might not notice it, but maybe the other person that you live with is going to notice it, or the people who come in and your friends, and they say, hey, how come you didn't install the right color down rod? Now you got to explain yourself, and you're going to remember what I'm telling you. you're gonna hear Video Joe in the corner in your head. I told you so. Okay, so I'm not gonna really cut this off just yet. I mean, I could cut it off. I could cut it right now, but I'm not going to. Let's just make believe we are going to install a long down rod. Okay? I'm going to get these all lined up. And I know this pin is going to go down in there. Okay? But I've got to look. I guess I got to look at my directions, because maybe the housing that fits over here has to be installed first. Sometimes they have the housing piece might be split, that you can snap it together on both sides or whatever. So yes, I will have to check that, because I'm not sure which is the housing piece. I'm pretty sure it's this piece right here, but I'm going to have to read, because I don't want to put this on and get it all connected and then figure out, oh shoot, I forgot the housing trim. How's that going to go up there? Then you got to pull this knuckle apart. You can loosen that up and take it off, but then this knuckle goes. No, I guess the knuckle, you can pull it out the top or the bottom. Okay, but I'm going to read a little bit more. Okay, before I put that knuckle on. get familiar with your project. Read those directions. Good grief, Charlie Brown. And they say you can do this one of two ways. You can take the knuckle off right now, put that down in there, and then put the housing trims on and all that kind of stuff. I kind of think maybe, see, I could just take that cotter pin out of that bottom deal and pull that out, see? And I'm thinking that I can put that in there, then this thing goes up in there. Like I say, all ceiling fans are not created equal, okay? Oh, and that goes in that way. Because see, all that's going to fit down in there. Good Lord, it's going to be really tricky to get all the wires hooked up and all that up inside that housing and all that good stuff. But I'm pretty sure the whole thing goes up first, and then this is going to set down just barely enough to get the wires hooked in there. So say now I can take that whole thing and slide that up through here, fish the wires, fish all those wires up through there. And I could cut this shorter, but if your down rod is long, if you need a long one, you're going to have to push them up in there. Okay, here they come. Okay, like that. And see, this has, let's just set that right there for now. This has screws on the side, because remember there's threads in here. They say to back that out, because those are going to set on the threads. Okay, you got to get that out far enough so that we can screw this in. And then that pin goes through this after we screw that on. And I think maybe that's why they have this whole trim off first. Well, I'm just going to see if we can't do it this way. I'm pretty sure we can. Good Lord. First off, you got to make sure that's setting straight up and down, don't we? And see, there it goes. Now, that has to be screwed down just at the right amount, so that then I can slide that pin through there. I'm wondering if maybe that's why they tell you to take this knuckle off first. But see, this wire just has to keep twisting. I don't want to twist the wire inside there, and I don't think I am. I say I don't think I am, but see, it's twisting. It's twisting all up inside the pipe. And maybe that's not such a good way to do it. I think I'll do it like they tell you on the directions. Good Lord. I've already got the wire kind of twisted up in here. See how it's twisting? Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this how they tell you to do it. And see here, I thought I could. I think I still could have. But you see how it's got these wires already kind of twisted up. Good Lord. So let's go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen. I've got to undo this. And there's one screw on the side of this that you loosen up. And you know this knuckle is attached on that one screw. And I'm going to try to reattach it at the same spot because there's a slight indentation I see on the side. You see there? That's from just the screw making that. I wish, you know what I wish? I wish they would make threads right there. So that this, and then this screw should be longer so that you could put that screw in a little bit further and tighten it. Because see, that's the only screw that holds this whole thing, this whole knuckle tight on this rod, is that. So see, if this knuckle ever gets loose on this rod, it's going to be because this backed out a little bit, and if that backs out, your ceiling fan is going to wobble. And see, there's a indentation right in there for where this pin sets in there. It only sets in one spot. So see, once that gets in there, this is in there like that. I'm trying to do it so that you can see this. And come on. See, I'm going to have to end up fishing this in later. You get half and half, and then this slides over and slips in. Now, it can slip in that way, or it can slip in 180 degrees the other way. So see, it doesn't have the notch over on this side. So I want it over where that set screw is on the other side, and that's where the indentation is. That's going to give me the more meat for my buck, per se. And that groove, that pin has to be in that groove all the way. If it's not, maybe, see, it's not, and I'm pulling up high, this has to be down there indentated. You don't want this to be wrong, because see, if it's not in all the way, look, it can be right like that, but that's wrong. Let's see, it's got to be in there, and it's got to pooch down like that. Then you tighten up this set screw on there, and that's the only thing that holds this plastic, heavy-duty plastic knuckle onto that. That's silly. They should put another one. They could at least do two, or they could have done three and drill a hole in there, had threads in there. So when you tighten that down, it not only tightens to the plastic, it tightens down to the rod in there, but they don't. And so lots of times somebody's knuckle gets loose and they say, "Hey Joe, my ceiling fan is wobbling. Can you come fix it?" And I come, take it apart a little bit, tighten that up, plop it back down in there, and okay, that'll be $95 or $75. Okay, thank you. And 6 months down the road, "Hey Joe, my ceiling fan is wobbling again." I come out and do it again, say that's the best I can do, that's all I can do. They've not figured out any better way to do it, and they say, "Okay, thanks," and I take their money again, like clockwork. That's how you fix wobbly ceiling fans. You know, that's another way to fix a wobbly ceiling fan. You never know what it is. It could be like 3 or 4 things. Okay. So see, now I can twist that without this moving all around, because that knuckle, that pin was in the knuckle, and it was keep making these wires twist. You know what I mean? This pin. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna be real careful with this. Hold my mouth just right. Get it screwed down. And see, I'm not going to tighten this. It's not going to tighten all the way. It's just going to be to where I can put this other pin with the cotter key through there, see? And now I have to fish it through these wires down over into the next hole and all that. look and see if I got it lined up. And sure enough, I do. And I take that little cotter pin. See? That cotter pin, I'm just going to hold that down there. And I'm going to push it through that. And I'm just doing it with my fingers. There. It's in. And see, that's sliding back and forth. This is all sliding back and forth, right? Well, that's because now you've got to tighten these two set screws on this particular brand. Now I'm going to screw this in, and that's going to hit the threads. Of this rod. And the other thing I want to do is hold that rod, make sure that rod is coming up straight. Okay? So I'm going to make that one tight, and then this one, and now I'm assured this is coming up straight, and it's not, I don't want to tighten this screw up all the way first, and then have this coming out at an angle, let's say, so when I hang it, it's not coming up straight. You know what I mean? And so I'm gonna tighten down both sides now. And all that's doing is hitting the threads in there and keeping the threads from twisting, see? Okay? So I can only do that so far. And now there's a nut here. So I guess I could take the nut and tighten that down on the screw. I don't know. That's weird. Taking up the slop. And I can only tighten those so much. I don't want to twist the head off the screw. You know? And so now there's two nuts there, and I haven't looked through all my packages. Shame on me, because there's probably a little wrench possibly to tighten up those. I've got my little crescent handy, and I'm going to tighten those nuts down. I'm going to make them snug. I don't want to overdo it because I could break this thing. I could twist that screw right off. Okay? And I've never really seen one like this before. And this is a Fanimation ceiling fan. I think I told you. And they're actually a pretty good fan brand. Okay, all right, that looks good. Okay, so now I need to put this knuckle back on. Am I ready to put the knuckle on? No. Do you remember? I got to put the trim caps on and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's up next.